Hey guys, what's up? Janelle Ryan here. So I just unintentionally watched the entire season 2 of Orange is the New Black. I'm not exactly sure how you unintentionally watch 13 hours or more of television, but I managed to accomplish that this weekend. That's actually all I accomplished this weekend. So I thought I'd make myself feel better by doing a review video, so at least I seemed the least bit productive. One of my favorite things about television shows in general is character development. I love the way that Orange is the New Black combines the stories of the prison system and the prison cliques with backstories of how these women ended up where they are today. When I think about season 1 versus season 2, I love the fact that they allowed some other characters to shine, and some of the characters that they featured prominently in season 1 just kind of chilled out. They also introduced some new characters, which I loved. So considering that character development, backstories, those are my favorite things about the show, this review video is going to focus on just that. So the relationship on everybody's mind was Piper and Voss, or Alex, however you want to call her. This whole year everybody's been talking about how Alex wasn't going to be predominantly featured on season 2. And yes, that did happen, but you know what? I wasn't mad about it. I enjoyed seeing the tension between them and Alex kind of doing her own thing in the outside world, and Piper being forced to kind of get to know some of the other prisoners better. And also I really enjoyed Larry not being so clung on to her and going out and doing bad stuff and getting to know himself a little bit better. I know a lot of people are gonna hate this, but I'm really glad that Larry and Polly got together. I was kind of rooting for them. I didn't like Polly's husband, and again, I'm enjoying the fact that Larry is not so clung on to Piper. And then also season 3, it gives Alex and Piper a chance to get together once she's back inside of the prison. So I'm glad that Larry and Polly are together, and I'm glad that Alex and Piper got to go through their thing, but they're still gonna, have a chance to be together in season 3. I think Cal, Piper's brother, is just absolutely insane, along with the rest of her family. It's really sad that her mother and father have such a weird, relationship. I think a lot of families have that problem. As long as you just smile pretty for the Christmas card, then everything's gonna be just fine. I think that that has a lot to do with the way that Piper handles relationships as an adult. Last season, I really hated Healy, but I really liked him this season. He really showed a lot of compassion and empathy towards many of the inmates. I think it's because he was kind of going through his own thing in his personal life. So I hope that he continues to develop in that manner as we go into season 3. Porn Stash is just gross. I don't really like his character. I understand the purpose behind it, and of course it's going to continue in season 3 because it's so vital to one of the storylines, but he really annoys me, which I guess is just a testament to how great of an actor he is, because in real life he's not that annoying. I also can't stand Bennett. That cute guard thing is getting really fucking old, and just like the childish way that he acts towards, the fact that he has a child, which at the same time Daya does the same thing, which I'll talk about, later, but I can't stand the way Bennett acts sometimes, like that sad puppy dog, I'm so innocent thing is just getting really old. I also really liked Caputo this season. He was another person that I hated in season 1. I feel like, and it's interesting because with the whole newsletter thing that Piper started about how guards are people too, I feel like they really proved that in season 2, that the guards are more than just these, dominating figures in these women's lives. They actually are people too with real feelings, and they definitely showed them more in season 2. Caputo especially, I feel like. Fig is one of those people that you love to hate. I feel like she's such a bitch, she's such an asshole, but I loved her character, and I of course wanted to see Caputo replace her, but at the same time, I loved every scene that she's in. Especially, I can't remember exactly who she was in the scene with, but the guy is investigating her and she changes the subject by saying, oh, why don't you come to this party? You know, there's gonna be a famous football player or something like that there. And I just love to see the way his facial expression changes to her bullshit. And also, you know, when Caputo confronts her with all the information that he has, and she's like, oh, well, I'll suck your dick. And it's like absolutely disgusting, but at the same time, you love her for it because she's extremely manipulating and she doesn't give a fuck. I really like Fisher. I believe, even in season 1, she was one of the few guards to kind of show compassion and empathy towards the inmates, and she continued that in season 2, and it kind of got her fired, which is unfortunate. I imagine they'll bring her back for season 3 because the inmates really liked her, and again, with character development, she's potentially going to go out there and do her own thing, but I think she'll be back to Litchfield. I love Red. I was so scared that V killed her, and we're going to talk about V. Oh my god, we have to talk about V. But I love Red. I love everything about her. Her backstory, you know, the loving way she feels towards many of the inmates, the negative side of her, the competitive side. There's just so much that you can get into with her. And I just can't wait to see the way that her character develops. I was so afraid that she was dead. And, you know, it happens in stories. But I'm so glad that she's not. And we're going to be able to see what happens, you know, after getting beat up like that. So yeah, love her, love her, love her. I'm so glad that she didn't get killed. Nikki is a great character. She's another one of those people that you feel bad for because you can tell that there's just something wrong with her. She has that addictive personality, and you know, now she's addicted to sex, which I suppose is not as dangerous as being addicted to drugs, but not really. And you can see that the drug still has a huge pull on her. So I hope that she can continue being strong and, you know, just carry on, I guess, is all I could say. I love Norma as well. It's really interesting, those characters that are silent in shows, but then you feel like you just know so much about them. She's definitely one of those characters. I love the fact that she was so heartbroken about what happened to Red that she was secretly plotting with Gloria to, which I also love, the fact that Gloria was kind of getting in on it, to, you know, on revenge. And I'm excited to see how her character develops as well, and the next time that she speaks. It's always interesting when the characters that don't speak actually speak. I don't know why, but Big Boo kind of gets on my nerves. I guess it's because she's such an idiot sometimes, I feel like. She has no allies at the moment, and I'm curious to see how that plays out in season 3. She is always, you know, joking about stuff and concerned about, you know, what her next hit is going to be sexually. Nikki does the same thing, but Nikki has loyalty, I feel like. Big Boo just doesn't care, and it really annoys me. Oh, Morello. Morello's storyline broke my heart, and I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter as well. I think all of us have been in situations where we were in love with a person who didn't love us back, but her storyline just takes it to a whole other level. She's been putting on this ruse the entire time she's been in the prison, and it was really sad to just kind of see her take it to that place. She was willing to, you know, I don't even know what would have happened to her. I guess her sentence would have been tripled, or she would have gone to like a max security prison or whatever. But she's so in love with this guy, and she just can't accept reality that she was willing to put her life in jeopardy, essentially. And it was just really, really sad to see, especially when he comes to visit her in the prison and she kind of has this glimmer of hope, and Nikki, you know, motions her through the window like, is that him? And it's just like this embarrassing situation. I was so sad for her, and I hope that she gains some type of strength in season 3 and can be more honest with people. I like Daya, but she kind of annoys me at times. I know that it was the hormones talking this season, but maybe her and Bennett are truly meant for each other because they're just both extremely childish. They do not have realistic expectations for this situation. First of all, you can't pin a rape/baby on another person and not expect that to get back to you. You know, there's going to be a child. I'm sure there's going to be a DNA test of some sort, paternity test, whatever they call it, and they're going to find out. Granted, Bennett did just admit it, so Caputo is an idiot as well for thinking it's something could be swept under the rug, and also Pornstash is in love with her. So it's just like this giant mess, and it annoyed me the entire season just seeing her kind of chase after Bennett and want him to tell the truth, and I don't know, the whole thing is a giant mess. I do like their storyline, but I wish it was just the slightest bit more realistic, more accountability for the reality of the situation. I think Flaca and Ramos are really cute together. I thought it was cute how they kind of got together on Valentine's Day. It was also kind of sad because they were both extremely lonely. And I also loved the whole job fair situation with Tasty. That entire scene, sequence, or whatever was hilarious. Gloria really surprised me this season. I didn't expect her character to be so dynamic and have such an interesting backstory. It was really, really sad to see. And again, I really enjoyed the fact that she kind of, you know, got together with Norma to help her avenge for Red's accident. So I'm excited to see how that continues if they develop an even bigger bond. There's something about Aleda's character that I just really enjoy. She's definitely conniving, and I know that she doesn't really have Daya's best interest in hand, but I don't know, there's just something enjoyable. I guess it's so raw and realistic in a way, especially when she tells her that she's more or less hit the lottery with the money that she's going to get from the state and from, you know, Pornstash and Bennett or whatever. And the lines that she delivers to Daya and the rest of the inmates are just so memorable. I was so happy when they decided not to transfer Maria Ruiz, as well as Piper, of course, and the other inmates. But it was just so heartbreaking to see how sad she was at the thought of having to leave her child behind. And, you know, the thought of not having any type of relationship with the child. One thing that I was hoping, it didn't need to happen because they decided not to transfer anybody, is that I really wanted to see Piper fight to not have her transferred specifically, the same way that she kind of finagled her way with the furlough. I really wanted to see her fight to do that. I felt like she was empathetic to the situation, but she couldn't get past the fact that she was going to be transferred as well. Oh man, Tasty's storyline was just incredible this season. I don't even know what to say about it. You really start to understand her more, especially why she put herself back in the prison system, because don't forget, she got let out and she put herself back in the system because her life outside of the prison is so unstable. So you got not only introduced, but you got hit in the face with that this season. And I was so scared that her and Pusey's relationship was going to be ruined, or that Pusey was going to be killed or whatever. So it definitely ended in a satisfying way, but it was just so sad to see how she had literally nobody growing up. Really the only person that she had was her stepbrother, and he was killed. So to see her and Pusey's relationship be strained, and for you, the viewer, to know that yes, Pusey genuinely has her back and V doesn't, was just really hard to bear. I was so afraid this whole season that something bad was going to happen. And Pusey is just the shit. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. She is an honest, genuine person, and I'm excited to see where their relationship continues. They're like sisters. I really kind of feel like they're meant to be as well, but, you know, Tasty is not necessarily into women, so I don't really see that going anywhere, but I wouldn't mind if it did. Black Cindy is just hilarious. Even her backstory was hilarious. I know that it was supposed to be sad, but it was just so funny, you know, to see her in the airport acting a fool, essentially. And I don't know if she has a serious side to her. She shows it slightly when it comes to her daughter, but she's so irresponsible. You know, it's funny, but you can't help but feel bad for her at the same time. I heard a lot of people talking about this on the internet, about how we don't want to call her Crazy Eyes anymore. And I feel them, man. I mean, I always knew that there was something off and much deeper to her story, but it was just so sad to see. But it was also refreshing to see how in the end they came together to make sure that she wasn't framed for the accident. So I'm excited to see where that goes. If they embrace her more as a normal individual, a normal inmate, and not just the crazy one. Watson just always looks sad. It's really disheartening. I wish that they would build a gym. I feel like she would be happier within the system. I don't even know what to say about her. Like, she easily turns on people, and, you know, again, she fell for V's conniving ways. So I hope that she becomes stronger in season 3. So let's talk about V. V's character was just like so good. I mean, I love when shows bring in a totally new character, fresh, you know, fresh off the pages or whatever you want to call it. They did that often in Dexter, and you just fall madly in love with their character, especially those characters that you hate. Like, I knew that V needed to die. I knew she needed to die. But at the same time, I'm kind of hoping that she's still alive just so that we can get a little bit more from her. She was just so, like, perfect. She was villainous, but she also kind of made you believe she was caring sometimes, especially when Red almost killed her and then she calls a truce. You almost feel like it's genuine. And it also happened another time in the bathroom. I think it was with Gloria, if I'm not mistaken. And you feel like she's being genuine. It's really sick and twisted. I guess just, again, a testament to an amazing actress. And yes, she needed to die, like I said, but I really, really, really hope that we get to see a little bit of her in season 3. It's really interesting how they were able to change the focal point of Pensatucky's character, but still make her so interesting. Her character is so in-depth, I feel like. We're going to continue to learn more and more about her. I loved how, you know, she kind of let go of that super duper religious fanatic stuff and focused more on her anger issues and just wanting to make new friends within the prison. Who knew that Big Boo would become one of her friends? It's really, really funny, or that she would cut her hair. Leanne and Angie just crack me up. And again, I love how Pensatucky kind of branched out and did her own thing. Leanne and Angie also did the same thing. So I'm curious to see kind of where that whole dynamic goes. Miss Rosa has got to be my second favorite character. And again, I know that her storyline eventually will probably lead to death, but I hope that we get to see more from her. I really hope that she doesn't go back to the prison. I'd like to see her just kind of continue, you know, to make a getaway, and we get to see a little bit more of that side of things. I love that she's the one that killed V, especially because she really didn't give a fuck about what V did inside of the prison in terms of beating up Red and just causing a muck among, you know, Tasty and Poussey. She just thought that she was an asshole and a very rude person, and she doesn't play that shit. So it was so hilarious to just see her kill her, or potentially kill her, and then just to be like, you know what, she was so rude. Sophia is just too cool for school. My favorite scene with her this season was when she was educating the inmates, the women prisoners, on the female anatomy. It was hilarious to see, and how shocked some of them were to find out more about themselves. And I also loved how she said that she designed her own because she's seen some hot mess in her days. That was too funny. I know that she wasn't a central character this season, which I understand. I just hope that we continue to see more of her in season 3. I want to see more of Sister Ignals. I know that we got to see a little bit of her backstory, but I know that there's way more to that. I'd love to see specifically what it was that got her, you know, sent to Litchfield. And I hope that she continues this new, you know, strength that she has, this new confidence that she has. We didn't get to see her talk to the nuns. So I hope that with season 3 that they kind of pick up where that left off. I thought that Brooke, the new character they brought in, was so annoying, but also necessary. I'm glad that they let, you know, like a protester, Occupy Wall Street style person kind of shine a little bit, but every time her character came on, I was just so annoyed and I wanted her to shut up just as much as the inmates wanted her to shut up. I felt so bad for Jimmy and the rest of the Golden Girls. I'm really glad that Red, you know, became a part of that clique a little bit in season 2. And I was also really glad to see, you know, Sister Ignals and Yoga Jones and So-So kind of stand up for rights within the prison, including the Golden Girls and people like Jimmy who are let out for compassionate release. That's another thing I really love about the show, is just the undertones of what they're focusing on. Yes, it's a comedy, but it's also a drama about real life shit. In conclusion, I just really fucking loved season 2, man. I'm really sad that I watched the whole thing in one sitting, and I'm kind of making myself feel better by doing a review video. But man, binge watching is just the worst. I guess I'll talk to you guys in a year from now and tell you what I think about season 3. Till then, fade to orange. I love that, by the way.